Well, Hamish, great to catch up, and thanks for sharing your time with us here while at the show. I mean, imagine there's so much to do there that you'd be a busy man.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Thanks for having us. No, it's certainly been a busy couple of days and a lot of people in. Wednesday, a wee bit quieter, but yesterday and today, shaping out to be pretty good days. The sun's out and it was a very cool start. There's a lot of people here and I hope we have a busy final day. So good to be part of.
Certainly nice to see the blue sky there and the wispy clouds. It looks good. And in terms of crowd numbers, can you gauge, is it as good as it's been in previous years?
I suppose with a lot of things, you can only gauge it off what goes through the till sometimes, that we do have a small retail presence and that the sales through the till have been quite promising the last couple of days, better than previous years. Just judging by the amount of inquiry we've had on our site here and the flow of people through, there's been a lot of people come through as well. So obviously don't have exact numbers, but pretty happy with what the turnout's been to date so far anyway.
And talking to the punters coming along, what's the general feeling? Are they sort of excited about being able to, get out and socialise at a major event again?
Well, that's most likely. I mean, as you well know, the last 12 months events have been pretty hard to come by, and we have field days like this in Northern, and they were canned last month, and there hasn't been much down here for a wee while, so it's just good to see people get out and about and socialise and interact, I guess, and a lot of inquiry out there. People not sure what the next 12 months have got in front of them, but the inquiry so far has been pretty positive, and you get a lot of people come on our site sometimes just to look, but there's a lot of positive discussion, a lot more than normal, so real happy with the turnout so far.
So Hamish, tell us about your particular role with PGG Wrightson.
So I'm the retail sales manager for the Canterbury and West Coast region, so I look after all the field reps and stores in the Canterbury patch, so that's my responsibility, and also part of the organising committee for our site. So I wouldn't say I'm the figurehead for it, but there's multiple people involved, and it collectively all comes together to form what's a pretty good site, really.
And what is the site? What's on there? What's there for people to see?
Oh, we've got a bit of everything, really. So our theme this year is adapting for change. I mean, farming's quite a evolving business at the moment. It's in the last 12 months. In the next couple of years, it's just going to keep changing. So we're trying to adapt for change too. There's a lot of things happening out there that are not out of our control, but we've got to try and do our best to support our clients and go with them. We've got a large presence on site from our seeds divisions, Agricom and PGG Wrightson seeds, so a lot of turf plots showcasing our cultivars and new things coming through. But we've also got a strong fruit fed presence. Fruit fed's part of our retail division, responsible for broad acre crops like potatoes, fruit and apples, grapes, things like that. And that's going to probably become more important with land diversity. So we've got quite a big feature here with that. Plus, we've also got a retail division in our shed, and we're also represented by a lot of key suppliers, but our other business units too, like livestock, wool, water, and real estate as well. So it's really a whole company, a retail focus, but it's a whole company effort, really.
And as to your particular area, how have you found retail, in a sense with COVID and then getting back to sort of normal? Has it been a big change?
It's been quite strong, actually. I mean, we obviously all went through lockdown last year, and we were lucky enough that we were still able to trade to a certain degree through our stores, through contactless service and so forth. But that we got through that quite well. But the inquiry has been quite strong through the spring, and we're just looking to finish off a good year through to the end of June. So there's a lot of what if in the air at the moment. People don't sort of know what's coming and going, and if you went back 12 months ago, we weren't sure what the next 12 months were going to bring. And here we are 12 months down the track from lockdown. And I think farming's still in a pretty positive space, as are the people we deal with. So you never know. You've just got to make every dollar count on the day, I guess. And you never know when it might burst, but you've just got to keep powering on as though we're going to head upwards. So we're in a good space. And I think the farming population in general might be talking out of turn. There's not a lot of love for farmers some days in New Zealand from some parts of the country, but I think lockdown certainly highlighted how important agriculture is to New Zealand. So it's a good place to be, really.
Now, I know your colleagues in the bidder area and the livestock division, the online presence was very strong and it was perfect timing. What about retail? Do you have a strong online presence, or do people prefer to come into the store and try things on?
Still rely on the traditional sort of, the face-to-face contact and stuff. We do have an e-commerce site, which we're slowly building, and it's coming together. There's a presence we've got online, and it's slowly coming together nicely at the moment. Like a lot of things, you don't want to build it up too soon. It's small steps, and it'll slowly get bigger. But I mean, the world has gone that way, and you did mention bidder. That was sort of sitting in the background, and that really came into play during lockdown, and it's still being used quite a bit at the moment. So still, I think nothing, in farming, nothing replaces the face-to-face contact, but we're in a ever-changing world, so we've just got to embrace it with it, change and roll with it sometimes. What we did 50 years ago is not always going to work. So you just got to keep getting those wee pieces in, I think. Yeah. And this is what our site's about, really adapting for the future.
So what's your highlight of the show so far? Have you got one?
Well, I just had a plane fly over before at a very low height, so that got everybody moving anyway. But nothing really. I just think it's great to see the people out, and there's people here from older folk through to little kids and that, probably taking the day off school and they're having a good look around. So it's just good to see people out and just conversing. That's one thing I've noticed with our site here this year. It's quite a relaxed feel, and everyone's just interacting and good general discussion and happy to be here. And look, it's a lovely sunny day. It is blowing easterly in Canterbury, which can get a bit cool, but it's a lovely day, and hopefully we can finish strong this afternoon.